To get started today, I just wanted to do a really quick overview about planned giving. You can listen to other webinars which ECF provides to assist you in learning more about planned giving, but just a few important reminders. When we're talking about gifts that people make from their estate or from assets that they're holding for retirement, those are planned gifts. There are some unique aspects about planned gifts, and those are that they are future-focused. They are not meant to be spent within the current operating income. These are gifts of great passion and conviction by those who are making them, a great demonstration by all of these people that they believe in the future mission and ministry of your congregation or Episcopal entity. The most important thing to always remember is that when an individual makes a planned gift to your congregation, they raise your congregation or Episcopal entity to the level of family in their estate plans, to the same level that their children and grandchildren are. So this is a crucially important gift that people make, and it's vital that the leadership of the congregation take steps such as enacting a legacy society so that they can demonstrate that they understand how important that gift is to the individual. Always remember to be sensitive and gentle. We are dealing with end-of-life issues when we're dealing with planned giving. Also, never appear as if you are giving legal, tax, or financial advice when raising awareness of planned giving, because planned giving is a natural extension of your stewardship ministry. And what you're doing is raising awareness of all the different types of planned gifts so that individuals can make a decision for themselves about what gift is appropriate for them. Also, crucially important to remember that with planned giving, you need to raise that level of trust among the members of the congregation and keep them informed so that when they are ready to make a planned gift, they can move ahead and do so with full confidence. One of the best ways to do that, and I say that at almost every workshop I give on planned giving, is to make sure that you have in place endowment and gift acceptance policies. I don't have time to talk about that today, but if you need assistance in putting together endowment and gift acceptance policies, the Episcopal Church Foundation, as a part of their role within the Episcopal Church in the area of planned giving, is happy to share our best practice documents that have been used in hundreds of Episcopal churches across the country. So there'll be contact information later, and you can simply let us know if that's something we can help you with. A few brief notes when it comes to planned giving. That is your biggest obstacle, and why legacy societies are so important is that your biggest obstacle in doing planned giving in your parish or diocese or Episcopal organization is a lack of awareness. People do not realize that they can make all of these different types of planned gifts to your organization. However, every organization throughout our country is raising awareness to the members of your congregation, the people in your pews, every week, to encourage them to make a planned gift to their organization. And as there are many wonderful causes to give a planned gift for, few organizations will hold the depth of importance to the individual that their local parish or diocese or other Episcopal entity will hold. When I talk about planned giving more and more these days, I like to talk about appointing a planned giving shepherd, and that's important when you're getting started planning a legacy society. Just beginning with starting with one person, your planned giving shepherd, who's willing to learn more about planned giving and to begin raising awareness and doing some of the basic work that I talk about in other webinars is crucial. Just having that initial person to make those initial efforts is key. And it's also important that that person is listening to a webinar such as this or reading our other Episcopal Foundation materials so that they can move you forward in putting together a legacy society. And just as a quick note on that, make sure that the person who you have in charge of planned giving is keeping your rector and the vestry up to date and informed about how things are progressing in your planned giving efforts. Another important way to build up your plan giving efforts and move toward having a legacy society is to put in place a plan giving committee. Without getting into great detail, this would be a group of people that would seek to plan out the work that you're wishing to do in plan giving and to support the efforts of the leaders like the Plan Giving Shepherd and the Legacy Society in making awareness more common among the members of your congregation, both through workshops that you might do locally in an adult forum or opportunities for testimonial giving by members of your congregation, or in a number of different ways. Your Plan Giving Committee can be your human resource in moving forward. With respect to a legacy society, I just wanted to share a few basic thoughts with you before we move into getting some of our experiences out throughout the church for you to hear. It's important that you understand what a legacy society is. A legacy society is not meant to be a private club or have any aura of exclusivity, and I'll mention more about that in a moment. But you want to be as inclusive as possible. What your goal with a legacy society is to be able to say thank you to those individuals who have made that important decision to raise the parish or your Episcopal entity to the level of family in their estate plans through any means. And that is a part of the inclusivity, that you seek to allow anyone who has made a planned gift to allow them to join your legacy society, to become a member. Of course, some people will not wish to be recognized, and you must respect that. But you should give people the opportunity so that publicly and through the Legacy Society's events or other opportunities with the Legacy Society, you are having an opportunity to say thank you directly to those individuals, and consequently, by saying thank you and by talking about a Legacy Society, as you'll hear very soon, that you are raising awareness of all of the different aspects of planned giving so that you are encouraging people to know that they can do this and giving them the opportunity to do so. It's also important to remember that your legacy society many times can also be used as another human resource, and that would be allowing the individuals who are a part of your legacy society to actually share their testimony. They can do that in any number of ways. It could be done within the context of a liturgical celebration. It could be done within the context of an annual meeting, or sometimes most effectively within the context of having an annual event to say thank you. That annual event can take any form that you think is appropriate for the particular culture and circumstances of your parish. But one crucially important thing that I say to every congregation or Episcopal entity that I work with is that at least once a year you need to officially say thank you to all of them. And typically that is done within the context of a celebratory dinner, celebratory potluck supper, whatever it might fit for your particular congregation. But at least once a year you need to hold that event. We'll hear more about from our representatives who are with us today what they have done. You should, at a minimum and as a best practice, plan that annual event for the Legacy Society at least 1 year in advance. And that also will help, because what that does is that makes the leadership of the congregation be accountable. If, when you are planning your next year's events for the church calendar, if you set the particular date for when you're going to celebrate the Legacy Society, that automatically makes the leadership that accountable for making that event take place. Whether the event is as lavish from 1 year to another or more simple 1 year than another, either is fine, but at least once a year you need to take the time to celebrate those individuals. In addition, as a best practice and as a key practice, you need to keep track of those individuals who have notified you that they have raised you to the level of family, even if they have asked to remain anonymous. You need to keep their anonymity secure if that's what they've requested, but make sure that you are keeping record of those who have raised you to that level and that you are thanking them appropriately within the context of the Legacy Society, as well as sending them an actual thank you letter. As I mentioned before, it's crucial to be as inclusive as possible. An obstacle I have found when people are setting up legacy societies is in some parts of the country, people perceive them as exclusive or very private or only for the wealthy. Well, I'm here to tell you nothing could be farther from the truth. As many of you who are treasurers and stewardship people will know, being wealthy doesn't necessarily make you extremely generous. And so quite often it's imperative that you make it clear that everyone within the congregation can become a member of the Legacy Society simply by notifying you that they have remembered you through any type of planned gift. And another pointer I will put out there is just to be careful that you are not asking about the dollar amount of that planned gift. You do not want to make this about money, but you want to make it about the relationship that you're seeking to build over the long term. You may, after you've started your Legacy Society and are starting to inquire of people what types of gifts, you never are asking what amount, but you may ask what types of gifts. You should never ask for proof of that gift, such as a copy of the will or some other documentation. That just sets up a negative relationship, and you don't want to impair that relationship in any way. But in addition, I could give you a copy of a will that I wrote mentioning my parish as beneficiary of my estate, but I could have changed my estate. So there's really no reliable way to do that anyway. There is one exception where you might press for more information when it comes to a planned gift, and that is in the case when someone reveals to you that they have remembered you with a gift of life insurance. Life insurance is the exception where I would advise you to ask the person in a gentle and culturally appropriate way if they could provide you evidence of the parish or Episcopal entity being mentioned as a beneficiary of life insurance. The reason for this is that insurance companies are not obligated to contact the individual when someone has passed away if you're a beneficiary. And you typically have to use that documentation demonstrating that you are a beneficiary to have the insurance company actually pay out the benefit. So that is my quick review of planned giving and legacy societies. And what I would like to invite now is I'd like to invite Jane Martin to join us on the screen. Jane, thank you so much for joining us. Jane has been the person responsible for implementing a fantastic, and I have personal experience, that's why my funny looking face is in one of the pictures on your screen. I have personal direct experience at her parish as well to see how wonderful they have developed their own legacy society. And so without further ado, I'd like to turn over the floor to Jane. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Jim. Greetings from Trinity, Bloomington. I would like to take about 10 or 11 minutes to give you a brief overview of our parish, our endowment, some of the challenges we faced in setting things up, tell you a few stories, and then I'll have some of our more important documents available to you at the end. Our parish, Trinity Episcopal Church, is over 100 years old. We're located in a small town with a big university in the beautiful hills of southern Indiana. Our endowment originated in the early 70s, so it's been operating for more than 4 decades and is over $1 million. When I personally retired from the investment business, I began working on our endowment, and in trying to learn best practice on endowment management, realized that best practice had evolved and our documentation and some of our policies needed updating. So I came upon the ECF website in trying to find the proper protocols and policies in this field, and it was like finding buried treasure. Brochures, booklets, articles, a newsletter, legal templates, roadmaps, timelines, and training. And I must say that we at Trinity have used almost every one of these. We used the ECF policy templates, working with a member of our diocese, to put in place resolutions that govern our endowment operations. We used their investment policy guidelines, gift acceptance, and spending policies. And in parallel, and I think this was an important aspect of our process, we began educating both the congregation and our leaders on these policies and on endowment management practice. In fact, one of our vestry leaders told me that mentioning our endowment policies and limitations in my quarterly report to the vestry and our committee's annual report to our congregation has helped create a consistency of practice across new vestries and new members of the congregation, and really helps folks in understanding the provisions of the endowment and these limitations. At the same time, it educates our congregation and our members. And by these special policies and provisions, some examples are diversifying our investment assets, maintaining a 5% spending policy, which gifts to accept, and how to say thank you. One of our challenges in setting up a legacy society was our endowment has been operating for over 4 decades. So instead of starting from a green field and including planned givers, we had received many bequests in the past, and we wanted to include the family members of those church members who had made bequests to the church. So as well as planned givers, which is the traditional group included in legacy societies, we also included the families of those who had made bequests. And then there was a third category, and that is special gifts to our parish that achieved a level of lasting legacy to our current membership and future generations. And let me give you 2 examples of these. In the last couple of years, a very beloved bishop passed away, and gifts began pouring into our endowment. The family wanted those to be used for a baptismal font. And so, of course, we include that family, that very special family, in our legacy society. A second example is another family had lost a young daughter and made a special gift to Trinity Church of a beautiful contemplative garden with a fountain, as well as an endowment for the maintenance and repair of that special space. So we now have 93 members of our River Jordan Legacy Society. We launched it last fall. We flew Jim Murphy out from the ECF to be our keynote speaker. And since he was already coming to Trinity, he suggested that we maximize the day by having him do leadership training with our vestry, with our commission heads, and with our clergy. And he also spoke to our congregation about planned giving. It was a very educational, enriching day, and Jim made it awfully special. The ECF also, we have some income gifts that ECF manages for Trinity Church. This is very important. Some folks are going to make a gift at the end of their life, but need to live on the income from those assets while they are living. And so it requires a fairly sophisticated investment operation to invest those assets, provide the income to the giver, all of the tax documents annually that go along with that, and then when the giver passes on, to present the residual to the appropriate parish. So that's an important capability that ECF provides for us and for others. I would say that the Legacy Society has been the most important way to say thank you each year to our planned givers and to the families of earlier bequests and special gifts to Trinity. Last year we had a tea, and we gave all members an engraved psalter, so we try to give a special gift as well as create a special celebration occasion. This year we had a special lunch. We honored 4 new members, and we asked them to tell their stories. This is always the favorite part of the Legacy Society celebration. Everyone received a laminated bookmark of one of Trinity's very beautiful stained glass windows. We have 3 generations of family members that attend our Legacy Society each year from out of town. Initially, they came to honor their mother and father who had made bequests, but now they've become very special friends of Trinity Church. We've married their granddaughter, we've baptized their great-granddaughter, and our Legacy Society has allowed us to really embrace this special family. We've recently become aware
about you had talked about the gifts.
Yes.
And what you've done locally, and then why don't you just wrap up, Jane, with we'll show the different documents as well.
Yes, I just wanted to make one other point, Jim, and that is that we try to host an annual event or seminar each year, as well as the Legacy celebration. So we used the ECF booklet, Planning for the End of Life, to do a seminar on planning your funeral, preparing your medical directive, and preparing your estate plan and will. And we gave everyone a copy of the 29-page document, and it was very well received. This year we're having our endowment advisor come to do a half-day tutorial on understanding your investments.
That's great.
All our meetings are open, and let me move to the documents that that will be available to you. I distilled the policies and resolutions into a 1.5-page summary for our vestry approval, and then also used it in the annual report to our congregation on the endowment. And then the second document is a schedule of endowment activities. And the third document is our 1-page flyer on planned giving. And then the last document is frequently asked questions that I did for a homeless shelter locally. That's the Shalom 1-pager, where they were considering starting an endowment, but wanted to understand why it would be a good idea. Wouldn't it cannibalize some of their other fundraising activities? And then briefly what was involved in setting it up. So I hope you find those documents useful, and I look forward to your questions later. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jane. If I could just ask for Hugh to come on camera now. And Jane, on your documents, thank you for all of those. Those are very, very helpful. And your parish, did a wonderful job, and I was there to witness it, and on the occasion I was there, of allowing the individual to give their testimony and say why it was important for them to make a planned gift. And my heart was warmed greatly, and I think it really was quite an inspiration for all of the members of your Legacy Society.
Thanks, Jim.
So thanks so much. So stay on audio. And we now will hear from Hugh Davies. Hugh is from the wonderful, very historic church of Midland and St. Peter's in Lesbi, Maryland, another lovely place that I've had the privilege to visit. So Hugh, why don't you take the floor and continue on?
All right, well, welcome everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to share our experience at Middleham and St. Peter's. We are a parish on the western shore of the Chesapeake Bay, about 50 miles south of Annapolis. Middleham Chapel was founded in 1684, so we've been here for 329 years. But we only began our planned giving program 9 years ago, so in the first 320 years, there was no endowment or anything quite like that. We had excellent help at the start of our process. We had the good fortune of being in a diocese that, at the diocesan level, is committed to planned giving. And at a presentation session on planned giving, our priest heard about that, came back and encouraged us to begin a planned giving program at Middleham and St. Peter's, which we did 9 years ago. We actually began all three pieces together, both structuring a planned giving program, beginning an endowment, and also starting a legacy society at the same time. At that beginning time, Glenn Holloman and the Episcopal Church Foundation were of really extraordinary help to us. And we used, at that point, Funding Future Ministry as our guide, and all of the documents that Jane was referencing, we also developed with the help of ECF. We regard, just as Jim pointed out, that especially having a legacy society is an opportunity, first and foremost, to thank people for their generosity and their love of the church. Parishioners, we really embrace the idea that parishioners express their love for the church just as they love their family, and we provide an opportunity for them to act on that. Our Legacy Society, the 1684 Society, no question about where we got the name. We started, as I indicated, 9 years ago. Initially, we included, and again, it's interesting the parallels with the Jane's Church and ours. We included people that had made bequests or had made major gifts to the parish as an initial group to welcome into the Planned Giving Society, into the Legacy Society, the 1684 Society. We also had an initial year at the start where we campaigned for people to become members, and they would be regarded as charter members of the 1684 Society. At the end of that first year, we had 32 members of the society. What we've done from that point 9 years ago to keep planned giving alive and an important ministry within our parish is to do a number of things. First of all, we carry out programs and events during the course of every year. This last year, we held a wills and estates and financial planning seminar, which even after 8 or 9 years at this was very well attended and very well received. We've also done programs on caring for elderly parents. We've sponsored seminars on healthy marriage. So we kind of stretch the envelope a bit on the kinds of things that we do, but the result of this is keeping the 1684 Society and Planned Giving as an activity that's part of our ongoing ministries within the parish. We do other kinds of things. We sponsored a program of financial planning for young people, and we used Nathan Dungan's excellent Share, Save, Spend program, especially focused on our teenagers, on our J2A program. That turned out to be really, really well received. It was interesting, and I commend Share, Save, Spend to you, because the parents were as interested as the young people were in the kinds of things that they ought to be considering in terms of their own personal financial management. Our Legacy Society also sponsored our 325th anniversary celebration for the parish, which was a big deal. We are the third oldest parish in Maryland, and we made this a celebration where the bishop came and the whole community participated, and we had follow-on seminars around issues that were of interest in terms of our history. One on religious freedom in Maryland, one on the influence and involvement of African Americans in our parish and in our community, one on the impact of the church on Solomon's Island. So these were well received, and again provided an opportunity for us to have the Legacy Society and Planned Giving be a part of an important part of our church community. We always have a packet available, information available. It's in the literature racks in each of the worship spaces. It's provided and shared whenever we have an event. We include as an essential part of that ECF's Planned Giving brochure. Again, referencing back to what Jane said, ECF has an extraordinary set of materials that are available to all parishes to use to promote their program. We administer a grants program through the Legacy Society and the Planned Giving activity at our parish. What we've done is to set aside from endowment funds within our 5% drawdown limitation an amount of funds that's made available for any ministry within the parish or individuals in the parish that want to start an activity that will expand ministry or initiate new ministry activities. You may notice on the pictures there's like a tower. It's actually a water container, and then behind that on the left is a solar panel. What we've done is to create a garden that has an automated watering system for the garden, and this was obtained and supported through the endowment grant process. And we've done a number of other things. The garden provides produce for the local food pantry that's right there on our campus as well, and for food pantries throughout the southern Calvert County area. We have 10 acres. We're really very fortunate. We have a lot of land, and we've converted that into a community garden, and it's supported through the endowment and through the efforts of planned giving. Every year we have a dinner. As Jim mentioned, having an annual activity is really a great way to thank people and to have a continuing presence in our parish life. It's the 1684 Society dinner. Now, what this does is it creates a benchmark for me, and I guess I really am the shepherd for planned giving at Midland and St. Peter's. I know that dinner is coming up, and I want to make sure that we're going to be welcoming additional people into the 1684 Society. On the screen, you have a new member being welcomed a few years ago. And in her hand is a box that contains a Middleham cross. So everyone who is welcomed into the 1684 Society receives a Middleham cross, which is made from the wood of a tree that fell about 12 years ago. And when we counted the rings, there were well over 300 rings. So the tree, the wood from the tree that was there at the time of the founding of our Middleham Chapel, in any case, it becomes a wooden cross that's presented to each of the members. The dinner is also a great opportunity to welcome people from the diocese. The bishop has attended on multiple occasions. This year we're welcoming the canon to the bishop, who's responsible for mission to the bishop, and so it's really a nice opportunity to welcome people. This year we will have four more members welcomed into the 1684 Society. So after 9 years and encouraging people all this time, we continue to have the opportunity to welcome people in their generosity to the parish. They represent 3 different ways of making planned gifts. The first couple has included the church in their will. The second individual has made the church a beneficiary for their IRA. You know, again, another way to make a planned gift. And the third individual has included the parish as a beneficiary for their life insurance policy. Our people who choose to become a member of our Legacy Society and make a planned gift, they're not all the 80-year-olds or the 70-year-olds. We had a young couple in their 20s that included the church as a beneficiary on an insurance policy. They're not all rich people, as Jim pointed out. We have a person in our parish who has become disabled and is not able to work, yet they have an insurance policy where they've made the church a beneficiary because they love the church. So don't assume that your target population is just older people who would seem to have the money to include the church in their generosity. It can come from a wide range of givers. Finally, we're preparing a 5-year strategic plan right now for the parish. We're focusing on where we want to be as a parish in 2018, and included in that are very specific steps that we're committing to in terms of sustaining our planned giving program. We want to grow the endowment. We're very intentional about that. We want to ensure that all parishioners understand the opportunities that that are afforded to them in the planned giving program. So education is a part of what we want to do. And we want to, when we started, we were using some of the money from the endowment, a good bit of the money from the endowment drawdown for supporting the operating budget. We've weaned ourselves off that so that less and less money, less and less portion of that is going to the operating budget. We want to pretty much wean ourselves off of that. So we're doing a range of things to support planned giving at Midland and St. Peter's. We have all of the same kinds of forms that would be available to you that Jane mentioned, and I'm available to provide advice to the extent that you would want to reach out to us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Hugh, and thank you for all of your comments. And just to follow up on something Hugh said, and Hugh and Jane are both still on audio, something that he had mentioned about the inauguration of their society and pinning some of the celebratory events or the inauguration date itself if you were going to plan to begin your legacy society. Just a few quick notes on that. One is I would suggest that if you don't have a legacy society in place and you'd like to have one, contact us at ECF. We can help you with all of the various resources. But what you are going to seek to do is to plan about a year or year and a half in advance of your inaugural Legacy Society event so that you can plan out the various activities like Jane and Hugh have mentioned leading up to that, giving people the opportunity to reflect on whether or not they would want to become members. And during that time, you can also say that anyone who joins within that year, year and a half of time, that they could become founding members, and that may well incent many people to start. One other quick note is that if you have an important anniversary coming up, the anniversary of the founding of the parish, the anniversary of the building, whatever the case might be, since that date captures reflecting on the past, celebrating the present, and planning for the future, that's also a perfect time to inaugurate your Legacy Society. So I would strongly encourage you to imitate some of the things that you've heard of today to plan for that, because as the old saying goes, failure to plan is a plan to fail. And when it comes to planned giving and implementing your Legacy Society, it is key that you have your end goal in mind, and especially if you're implementing a Legacy Society, to plan in advance and work backwards from a date that you have picked. Finally, just please know that there is no one way. You've heard many similar things, but also many different things in today, and there is no one way to do this work. The Episcopal Church Foundation, as you can see on the screen, has tremendous amount of resources for you to use and to make use of, but you need to choose what is fitting for your parish in every way, and the Episcopal Church Foundation is happy to assist you in those efforts. One of the things that you can certainly take advantage of immediately, in addition to all our resources, are all of our recorded webinars, which we'd be happy to send you individual links to, or you may check out on our Vital Practices website, ecfvp.org. You can check out our archive of webinars, and all of these webinars are available, including one that is appropriate for prospective donors. So if you're planning a Legacy Society event in the future and would like a 45, or actually 40-minute, I kept it to 40 minutes, a 40-minute overview of all the different types of planned gifts which you might consider, you can simply get a copy of the link to our prospective donor webinar, and within the context of an adult forum or within the context of a Legacy Society event, have one or two members of the Legacy Society stand up, give their witness, as Jane was talking about why they've chosen to make this important gift, and then simply click on the link. And as long as your PC is connected to the internet, you'll be able to play that 40-minute webinar. So one of many, many options, and as always, the important thing to remember is that all of these resources are available to you to help support your ministry. All of us here at the Episcopal Church Foundation are anxious to help you in any way, whether that be sharing our various resources, which Meg King, our Assistant Program Director, can do, or in helping you to put together those endowment and gift acceptance policies. Ken Quigley is more than happy to assist you in those efforts. So, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you. For those of you who are with us live and not listening to this on a recording, please stay with us. We will be taking those questions from you. So in closing, blessings on all of you, and in your work and planned giving, let us know how the Episcopal Church Foundation can help. Thank you.